Well, hi everybody once again. You know, being bitten by things, it sounds crazy, but having a sort of a profession where things are trying to bite you all the time is kind of silly. But that's the sort of life I lived, avoiding being bitten by the tools of my trade, so to speak. These are true tales of my African adventures. May this inspire you, deter you, caution you, and above all, entertain you. One thing nobody likes being bitten by is spiders. You often see these pictures of people allowing tarantulas to walk on them. Well, I've done that many times, including the African baboon spider, which is an enormous spider, just like the big tarantulas you find around the world. Nothing like the bird-eating spider, which is truly huge. I mean, they're like little puppies, they're so big. But our baboon spider is big and formidable. Now, the type of baboon spider which grows the largest in our country is not really venomous. And I don't know much about spider venoms, I must say, but there's got to be something that's in those fangs. I can tell, and I'll tell you why I can tell. We kept a number of these baboon spiders. They were wonderful at the exhibitions where we showed people the spiders, and we spoke about their ecology and the fact that they serve a very good purpose, and where they lived and how they mated and how they bred and so on. Very interesting creature, but they really are big. And the one thing you don't want, I don't know what it is, but when you look at the baboon spider, you know, when they get a fright, when the baboon spider gets a fright, like all the tarantulas, they go back on some of their legs and they raise up a couple of legs, 2 or 4 in the front, and they show the underside of their head. And they show their fangs. Google that. See what it looks like. It looks bloody awful. And you see these massive big fangs of the tarantula, the baboon spider. Somehow it just does not look like the sort of thing that you should allow to bite you. You don't want it to bite you. I've been bitten by snakes many times, especially mildly venomous snakes and harmless snakes, and of course by deadly snakes. It's not funny being bitten by a deadly snake. Let me just tell you, despite anything anyone says, including myself, after a deadly venomous snake has bitten you, those first few seconds are awful. They're just absolutely awful, because you realize you're now dying. And you don't know if you're going to come through it, and you've got to decide on a course of action. And depending on where you are at the time, things can be crazy. Not a nice thing, not a nice feeling. But still, when I look at those tarantulas and baboon spiders showing their fangs, it's usually dark underneath, you know, and the fangs are huge. You just don't want to get bitten by that. Anyway, we kept these big ones. We always kept the very biggest ones. And one day, I was having a look at the baboon spiders. So I opened the glass door in the front of the enclosure, and I wanted to get a closer look. So I came close to the front of the enclosure, and for no reason whatsoever, the spider suddenly ran towards me and fell out the front of the cage. Now, it was probably 1.2 to 1.4 meters, and it was a solid floor below. And these spiders have got a massive abdomen, big, round, plump abdomen, like a big brown marshmallow. with these huge legs, massive fangs, and it fell out. Now we know that if a tarantula with a huge big abdomen, bulbous abdomen, falls a distance and hits a very hard, like a slate tile floor, the abdomen sometimes bursts, and that's the end of the spider. And we didn't want the spider, we don't want our spiders to get hurt, or any of our captives. So automatically, and without really intending to do so, I stuck my hand underneath the falling spider. It was just instinctive. Stuck my hand underneath. He, of course, saw this hand coming up at him, towards him. He was falling down. As he hit my hand, he thought his arch enemy is now grabbing him. I was actually his savior, but of course he wasn't to know that. And he sank his fangs so deep into my hand, I cannot tell you. They went right in. Right in. The thing that I really, really did not want to bite me has now bitten me. And it's a good, proper bite. Fangs, and you must see those fangs. Just as I say, Google them. They are huge. Both fangs went in deep. And there I was, holding this spider with its fangs stuck in my hand. So I put my hand in the cage and I tried to get him off me. It wasn't easy, he just wouldn't let go. Perhaps he could let go, but was having difficulty letting go. I never figured out which it was. But it was very painful, it was very deep, and I was very uncomfortable, and I had now been bitten by the thing I never wanted to get bitten by, and so I was not very happy. Anyway, eventually I got him off. Spider was safe, I was bleeding, and my hand swelled up, and it felt awful for a few days, and it went a strange white color initially, and then after that it got some delicious purpley red color around the bite marks. And it took me, I'd say, all in all about 10 days before my hand got back to normal. So that was my story of me being bitten by the thing I never wanted to get bitten by. Hey, by the way, I do have Patreon, so you can join me there too.